Barbra Streisand is a big supporter of Hillary Clinton, and recently she opined that Hillary Clinton is the target of a double standard, especially when it comes to sexism. So on Twitter recently, she posted this. What's the issue about Secretary Hillary Clinton getting $225,000 a speech when President Bush, 41 and 43, got $1 million? Trump got $1.25 million, okay, for men, but not women. So what she's saying is that, it's, the Republicans, they got more a speech, and it was okay for them, but it's not okay for Hillary, who was getting way less. It's kind of confusing because one, she does, this is Twitter, there's only 140 characters, but she doesn't get into when the speeches were that, Trump and the Bushes, when these speeches were given. Was it before their presidency? Was it after they left office?
I don't think it matters. To me, it doesn't matter. To me, it's just the men do it too argument. Right. To me, doesn't cut it.
Yeah, because
what you're saying is, it's like we shouldn't be focused on it because these men do it too. Yeah, that's really not a good argument.
Right. And another thing is, she's saying that these men did it, so it should be okay for Hillary Clinton. But it's interesting that she picked 3 Republicans to point out,
because it's actually not Republicans who have brought this issue to the table. It is Bernie Sanders.
It's Bernie Sanders that brought this issue to light. It's not the Republicans that are being bothered with, okay, so how much did you get from Goldman Sachs? And how about you release the transcripts? No, because they don't care.
They've been hounding her about Benghazi
and the emails. Right. And President Obama's failed policies that they linked to Hillary Clinton. They don't care about this money issue because
they take the
same money that she takes. So this is not an issue for Republicans. This is an issue that Bernie Sanders brought to the table. So she also wrote an article for the Huffington Post, and it was really about the same issue.
The article is entitled "The Sexism in American Politics." Now, she begins that article by saying this. Why is it that today, even a woman as impressive as Hillary Clinton is judged not by her merits and extensive resume alone, but held to a pernicious double standard? Now, if you go to read the article yourself, she does list some general double standards, but it's mainly concerning how characteristics and I guess how we express ourselves is judged differently,
right,
between men and women.
Right.
But I don't see a lot of points made by Streisand that detail political double standards. She mentioned something about education and how people don't take Hillary Clinton education as seriously as some male politicians, but throughout the article she never really mentions political double standards. It's just generalities.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which I can agree with.
Yeah. Like this article alone, on its face, it does highlight the culture in America in which sexism still women still have to face sexism, and that's a real thing. Now, the 2 things that she did list about Hillary Clinton that were valid were that, a few weeks ago when she won, I can't remember what state, but it was looked at like she was shouting at her rally after she won. And, media pundits were saying, why are you shouting? Why are you yelling? You should be happy you won. And, you should smile more. Now, well, see, that's valid because when have they ever said that about a male candidate? They don't say that. So that's a valid and legit claim that could be deemed sexism. But everything else that Streisand actually talked about in the article, again, were generalities, dealing with sexism. And like we said, if you took out Hillary Clinton from the article, it would be like, yeah, I agree 100% with this. Because look, women still don't get paid on the same scale as men do. So we understand that there's still a double standard. But as it applies to Hillary Clinton, how is sexism holding her back in politics?
Maybe I might be reaching, but it seems like a veiled attempt to establish a political no-fly zone for Hillary's current opponent in the Democratic primary.
Right.
Almost to keep him from trying to bring up valid issues.
Right. Let's say Hillary Clinton was not in this race for president. And let's say instead of her, Joe Biden was going against Bernie Sanders. It would be the same exact argument that Bernie Sanders would be making.
Bernie Sanders has been making the same argument even before this election.
Right. So it's not about Hillary Clinton because, like you just said, he's been talking about this since before he even began campaigning for president. So it's not like he developed this strategy because there's a woman that he's running against.
Like specifically for Hillary Clinton.
No, she just fits his attack strategy.
But again, Streisand doesn't mention Bernie Sanders, doesn't mention progressives, Democrats, or independent. Doesn't mention any of those groups, but tends to focus on Republicans. And I think me and you were talking yesterday, and we pretty much just said that is Hillary Clinton's strategy now.
Right.
Just to be like, well, vote for me because I'm better than the Republicans. Vote for me because you don't want Republicans. And in an article, she did mention something about how Donald Trump has gained his steam and his popularity has risen, and putting Donald Trump as this like token for fear.
Right.
And like, see, this is why we need to elect a strong candidate, and Hillary is that strong candidate.
But see, the same way, like, okay, we know Republicans use fear to just get support behind their objectives. We know that. But see, Hillary Clinton is using the same process too. She's using the same strategy, just in a different way. She's saying, and look, I've seen her on Facebook. I've seen her on Twitter now. Her new strategy is talking about Donald Trump with the abortion.
I've seen the sponsored ads like stop Trump, say no to Trump. I'm like, did you forget who you're running against?
Right.
Like right now?
Yeah.
Did you forget? No, she didn't forget.
Because if you wanted to stop Trump, if that's your strategy, who's polling better against Trump? It's not you.
It's not you.
That's why the campaign should be about what are we voting for, not against. We shouldn't be voting against anything.
That makes too much sense.
It does.
But that wouldn't be a good strategy for Hillary Clinton's campaign.
No, it wouldn't.
Because if you actually made it about issues side by side, then she wouldn't match up. No. So the best strategy for her is to focus on Donald Trump.
Yeah, and fear. Don't let Donald Trump get
Don't let Donald Trump
vote for me.
Vote for me.